I don't know if it's just like, again, I like, she is a victim of like, I think child exploitation for sure. I think all this is very monster behavior. I don't think these allegations come out of nowhere, and I think she's really disturbed. I think she has like just and it's just disturbing that she does all this stuff with kids, and I just think it's like because she thinks it's okay. And
the fallout from JoJo Siwa's ex-OMG scandal continues, as now Trisha Paytas has come out giving her not-so-friendly opinion of JoJo and this whole scandal. Loves, Trisha did not hold back from calling out JoJo for continuing the cycle of mistreatment that began all the way back on Dance Moms, to admitting that she no longer can stand JoJo because of all of her issues. Trisha finally spoke her piece about JoJo, and girl, did she have a lot to say.
Or some parents are okay with having their child screamed at. Clearly, Jocelyn was okay with JoJo being screamed at by Abby Lee. Fake or not, I'm sorry, nobody's gonna fake yell at my daughter on camera and like make her cry, because JoJo cried so many times on that show.
Now, the backlash JoJo has been receiving online since she got exposed by Rolling Stone has been a lot. But if you have a quick look across her social media accounts, it's like nothing at all has happened. Everything in JoJo's life seems to be going on as normal. Apart from the statement her lawyer sent to Rolling Stone, JoJo has just been going through her day promoting her new show like no serious accusations against her ever even happened. No personal acknowledgement of the accusations, even to come out to say that they are false or anything like that, and even when people try to bring up the issue in her comments, they just get ignored. However, one person who has been having an issue with JoJo even before ex-OMG Pop scandal has decided to give her take on JoJo. Trisha Paytas recently took to her podcast to air her frustrations and disappointment towards JoJo. It's no secret that Trisha and JoJo are not the best of friends, and this was very evident, especially when Trisha said that she could no longer stand JoJo because of all of the drama she kept getting in the middle of. Trisha even went as far as to say that she wouldn't give anything in the world to be like JoJo Siwa or have her fame. And I think this is largely because of the controversial image JoJo has created for herself as of late. And it's not only Trisha who thinks this nowadays. Even her own fans don't seem to be loving this image of JoJo. If you take a look at her comments, you will find the likes of, "I miss the old JoJo. What happened to you? I miss the OG JoJo. Loves, this new JoJo can be attributed to her growing up and also the environment she grew up in." But what seems to baffle Trisha is that given the toxic environment that JoJo grew up in, she still knowingly mistreated those ex-OMG Pop members, shouting at them, hurling insults at them, and continuing the cycle of mistreatment and bullying that she went through, and now she was doing all of those things to other people. Trisha admitted that given this huge fact, JoJo has slowly turned into a bully, which goes against everything that she has been portraying for years. She isn't exactly interested in hearing what JoJo has to say now, because loves, if you think of it, this whole ex-OMG Pop scandal began in like 2020, meaning that JoJo might have just pretended that she was a good person when in fact the reality is far from it. Y'all, some might even argue that given the persona she's portrayed of this bubbly, positive BFF vibe, and then when the cameras were gone, she would insult kids as young as 8. JoJo and her mom were equally as bad, if not worse, than Abby, especially if you remember that Leah and her fellow group members were allegedly subjected to grueling rehearsals and little pay, and they were even forced to fall behind on their schoolwork since they had no time for anything else, since JoJo and her mom allegedly demanded a lot from them. Loves, Leah claimed that she was forced to work under some serious physical stress, that at one point, JoJo's mom basically told her to go for a video shoot just weeks after she underwent spinal cord surgery. Loves, she was just a kid. How can anyone, especially someone's mom, make a kid go through with all that? And to make things worse, days before Leah went in for her surgery, the group was performing at the Children's and Family Emmys that JoJo was hosting, and Leah started bleeding through her belly button during the rehearsals, and instead of asking her to take a break so she could get some medical assistance, imagine JoJo's mom told Leah to just put a maxi pad on it so that the blood wouldn't stain her costume before JoJo's big event.
Like, just watching the few clips I've seen of the show, like, I don't know, the fact that they even had this show, like, none of it's okay. This is not like America's Got Talent. This is like, it's people who, obviously Jocelyn didn't mind doing this to her daughter, but now she's doing this to other kids.
By the way, Trisha also pointed out the fact that JoJo and her mom lied to Leah, promising her and the other ex-OMG members a better life and a shot at stardom. Well, the fact is that they were just low-key using them to benefit themselves. I mean, Leah and her mom were allegedly forced to pay out of pocket for stuff like food and transportation, and they were not reimbursed for their expenses. And to make things even worse, Leah didn't even get paid for the music videos, photos, and social media shoots that she was required to attend. That's not to mention the fact that Leia signed a contract in which she was to get $10,000, but in the end she ended up getting like $4,000, all because during their time in LA, they had to pay a lot to get a place to sleep at an Airbnb, while JoJo had allegedly rented a house which was supposed to be for the XOMG Pop content house, but none of the XOMG members spent even a night there. Granted, all these accusations are alleged, but if that's not a clear example of JoJo using Leia and the XOMGs, I don't know what really is.
The fact that she's not you can go one of two ways, right? You can do the Allison Stoner route where it's like speaking up for like these kids in entertainment, which I don't even think, I don't know, but to the extent I watched a little bit of her podcast, Allison Stoner wasn't exploited the way as bad as JoJo. I think a lot of stuff happened to her, I'm not saying that, but you know, it doesn't seem as severe as JoJo's, but she's speaking out against it, trying to like get help for kids and protecting kids on like sets and stuff like that. Whereas JoJo's going the complete opposite and just exploiting more kids.
Y'all, Trisha recalled meeting the XOMG Pop members while they were at a kids party. JoJo had brought them along, and Trisha thought that they were girls that JoJo knew, but she was shocked to learn that they had to audition and compete against each other, which according to Trisha makes the whole situation way worse because JoJo's whole brand is based on how kid-friendly she is. Trisha admitted that she was disturbed by how JoJo was allowed to work with kids, like surely given that the production crew of JoJo's show admitted that their goal each day was to try and catch a kid crying. How is it that no one decided to speak up about the toxic environment that JoJo and her mom were creating? Now Trisha wasn't the only one who thought this. Just take a look at these reactions from people who are still baffled by JoJo's actions. JoJo is the new Abby. I used to like JoJo when she was younger, but then I stopped because of all the drama. Following in Abby's footsteps, although I don't think even Abby would make a kid perform after a surgery. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my childhood idol turned out to be like this. She was someone I looked up to so much. I met her when I was 10 at a concert in Pittsburgh. She seemed like she was the sweetest person ever. I now realize that is not reality, unfortunately.
I remember we walked to the house, what was it, it was right after Malibu was born, so 2022, and we just saw a bunch of little like girls coming in, and I'm just like, and that was the whole party, was these like XOMG Pop girls.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, it's a kid's party, so I'm not saying anything weird. It was just kind of wild to see them because they were so young and so little.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my God, it's like, so now seeing this in that perspective is like, oh my God, they're
But they
babies.
were like basically JoJo's entourage. They had nothing to do there.
They came with JoJo, yeah. So...
Now, the thing Trisha seemed to be pissed at most with JoJo about this whole drama was because JoJo's show, Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution, was marketed as the better and healthier version of Dance Moms, with JoJo Siwa as the choreographer and mentor, as well as the co-manager of the group, along with her mother. And they low-key used the Dance Mom angle because of what they went through on the show. They made it look like their show would definitely be better and healthier. This caused Leia's mom to warn other parents who would have made the same assumptions she did. She said, do your research. Don't assume you know anyone because of their public persona. She then called out JoJo Siwa's mom, telling her that she too is a mom, and the way that she treated the XOMG members was just not right.
There's obviously a lot of alleged stuff in this article, but when watching the clips of the show, they were pretty wild. Like, they were pretty extreme. Like, JoJo included. I don't know how old she was when she did the show, but they're not easy on these kids. And they're kids. Like, it's crazy. So the article talks a lot about behind the scenes stuff, but the stuff that was actually on camera too is pretty wild. Like the comparisons, like comparing the girls to each other.
I went with Joey to the premiere of this.
Joey is in the midst of all the scandals.
Yeah.
Now, of course, after hearing all the things Trisha had to say about JoJo, it came as no surprise that she said JoJo had some serious issues and that she needed therapy. And I know Trisha has her separate beef with JoJo, but how JoJo is handled and handling this situation says a lot. I mean, Leave not coming out to say her side of the story, her lawyers might have told her to just stay quiet or something, but she did nothing when Leia and her mom had to leave the Airbnb because it was just too expensive. They ended up sleeping on a blow-up mattress on the floor of a dance studio, while JoJo Siwa had an entire house that was meant for the group. Y'all, on top of harsh financial conditions most of the moms in the group allegedly went through, Leia's mom and other XOMG members' moms had to scrub toilets and arrange JoJo's closet for 20 bucks an hour just so they could have cash to survive. And remember, their kids weren't getting paid, despite JoJo and her mom allegedly demanding the group put in endless hours of social media content. At one point, they were even promised 500 bucks for the video video that had the most views in a week. At first, like most of the group members, Leia recalled having fun making the videos, but it soon turned mean and competitive, all because of JoJo and her mom. Anyways, Trisha and JoJo famously had a public falling out after JoJo started defending Colleen Ballinger. Trisha was bothered by JoJo's repeated comments, especially after she started saying people calling out Colleen were liars. Trisha then decided to unfollow JoJo because she was basically being dismissive of all the claims that people were raising against Colleen. That was, I think, the first time that Trisha hinted that JoJo was possibly showing people her true colors, and ever since then, Trisha has been calling out JoJo. And JoJo hasn't exactly been helping herself in this situation because each time, it's like she's always defending one problematic person after another. From James Charles to Colleen, JoJo seems to be constantly choosing the most controversial person and backing them. However, amidst all this Trisha calling out JoJo drama, there seems to be a mixed reaction to this, especially given Trisha's own controversial past. Just take a look at these reactions after people saw Trisha's video. It's crazy hearing Trisha talking about what's right and wrong. I believe people can change, especially after becoming a mother, but it's just really ironic. Trisha defended Shane just like how JoJo is defending Colleen. Trisha has no room to talk. I never would have guessed it that I would consistently agree with Trisha about anything, and yet here we are. Still feels weird. Y'all, I never said I support Trish. I don't even like her. Just because I agree with her in this instance doesn't mean I'm excusing all the weird-ish she's done. I'm sorry, but no matter what, I can't get with Trisha and any of her righteous stances. I'll never forget how insufferable she was and how many times she messed up and never truly apologized. She probably wouldn't have an issue with JoJo's show if JoJo wouldn't have backed up Colleen. If JoJo was on Trisha's side, Trisha would have found some way to excuse all this crap. I bet money on it. It's so weird to see Trisha being treated like this and put on a pedestal. Her past was very sketchy, pretending to be lots of things and having mental issues. It feels like everyone who messed up is coming back and people just forget to reprimand them for their actions. I don't know, it's just weird, and I'm glad if she's really changed after being a mom, but I don't really know. Anyways, what do y'all think about Trisha calling out JoJo like that? And are people right to be skeptical of both JoJo and Trisha's actions given their controversial past? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to check out my previous videos to ensure that you are up to date with all the latest tea. Till next time, bye!